Gourd friends, and welcome to the studio. I was just about to put the finishing touches on this gourd, and I thought it would be a really good opportunity to talk to you a little bit about gourd rims. There are so many ways that you can finish off the rim of a gourd. Of course, you can keep it plain like this, but usually I like to do something a little extra just to give it a nice finish. I have some examples here of some of my favorite ways to finish off the rim of a gourd. I decided to use a coiling technique on this gourd as well, but the material I'm using today is called paper rush. This is the same stuff that you'll find on handles from the shopping bags you might get from the market. I've already pre-measured my paper rush, and the way I do that is just eyeballing it. I decided that I wanted to do 5 rows, and all I did was just unwind it from the roll that I had and then gave it a little bit extra just in case. I'm going to be using a black 4-ply Irish waxed linen to stitch it on. Okay, and here we go. As you can see, I've already prepped this gourd with holes that I drill through the rim. I drill them through about 1/8 of an inch from the very edge and about 1/2 inch apart. I always complete my entire gourd if I have any burning to do. I'll do all the burning first, I'll do all the coloring of the gourd first, and then I'll make sure that I put a few coats of a spray finish on it before I even begin doing any coiling work. I've already cut my amount of thread, and I'm just using a needle. I use a needle that I just try to find one that has I don't know how well you can see that, a pretty good size eye that I can fit this thicker thread through. To begin, I usually start somewhere on the side of the gourd. So I'm going to pull it all the way through and leave about a 3 to 4 inch tail. And then I'm going to take my fiber rush, and if you can see this, or my paper rush that is, I have a little bit of an angle. I have it cut at an angle, see? So I lay it down so that the angle, the long side, is toward the bottom of the gourd. And I position it so that it is not on top of the hole that I put the thread through, but actually more towards the hole to the left of it. And I am right-handed, so I work from left to right. And what I'm going to do is just tie this off. And this knot is going to be hidden. Okay, and I'm just going to let that little tail just hang there. The next thing I'm going to do is, first of all, untangle everything. Okay, that's better. Now I have my thread going this way and my fiber rush coming around the gourd and going the other way. That way they don't get tangled up. And I'm going to go through the hole a second time. Now I'm going to do the same thing all the way around the gourd. I'm going to go through each one, coming around from the back to the front, in through the front 2 times. And the first one you don't see much of a V, but the second one you'll see a V, and you will have a V the whole way through. Now this isn't the only way to do this. There's other patterns of stitching that you can experiment with. This is just what I am using today. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is the same thing the whole way around the gourd until I get to the second row. Okay, so I made it the whole way around the gourd one time, and I'm getting ready to start the second layer, or second row. And as you can see, where I lay down that angle, how this goes over top nice and even. It's going to go right over top of that knot and hide the knot. Also, the tail that I left hang there in the beginning is hidden underneath this first row as well. So I'm just going to continue this hole the same way as the others. And now what I'm going to do differently is instead of going into the hole, because these holes aren't really that big, you could, if you had larger, if you wanted to drill larger holes, keep going into the same hole, and that does make kind of an interesting effect. But what I'm going to do is insert the needle in between the gourd and that first row and in between the V. Okay, so it's going to go right there. You see that? And I'm going to do the same thing and go through each section twice. So one, I'll go into the next one as well. So you can see what that looks like. And I'm going to do the exact same thing and go the whole way around the gourd 5 times, because now it's not going to be any different the whole way until the very, very end of this gourd. And then I'll show you how to finish it off. Okay, I'm back. And as you can see, I have all 5 rows done. And where I'm ending it at is right here. As you see, this is my beginning row where I had that angled piece that I laid down to start. And I'm going to do the same for the top. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the paper rush so that the angle is going this way. Let me grab this. It's going to be going in this direction. And I'm going to cut it a little bit beyond where I started, and it's going to get tucked slightly behind like this. And make sure that my stitch is actually not going to be here, but my last stitch is going to be right here. Okay. Okay. Here's my ankle. See how that will lay flat on the inside, like so. That's how I'm going to stitch it. Okay, just a couple more to go. And I'm just using my finger to guide this last little piece down and towards the back. Okay, last one. Okay, so see how that looks? It's kind of tucked towards the back. Now the last thing I'm going to do is tie this off, and I'm not sure if I can get a good camera angle for doing this, but if you see inside where I have my last stitch in, where the string is coming out, what I'm going to do is take the needle and slip it underneath the stitch next to it, and that is where I'm going to tie it off. If I can get it through actually a couple of them, I will, and that will really hold it very steady. Hoping the camera can pick this up, but I think I can barely see what I'm doing when I do this anyway, because I'm underneath, as you can see, I'm pulling underneath the coil because the coil goes in, and I'm really trying to get this to be a hidden knot. So it is under one stitch. I'm going to try to get it underneath another stitch here. So I'm going to, there we go. Can you see that? See how that's going under the stitch? And I'm going to pull it so that it is under there. Okay. And now I can actually put it through again and just give it a little tie off, just to make absolutely sure that it is not going to come loose. And pull it down so that it is hidden underneath. And then I can clip. I'm leaving a little tail, and it can actually, because this is wax linen, it's a little bit sticky, and I can just kind of hide it underneath like that. Okay, so you can probably can't even see that. So here it is. Well, that's all. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you liked this demonstration and that you will give this a try sometime. If you like this video, I'd really appreciate that you give it a thumbs up, subscribe. I will be putting out some more videos soon. And if you have any comments or questions or suggestions for future videos, just leave a little message to me in the comments below. Also, you can go to my website, jragourd.com, and that's about all. So thank you for joining me today, and have a gourd day.